And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
In the Torah, God says to Abraham, I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. The book of Daniel opens with Daniel's interpretation of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, in which Nebuchadnezzar sees a great statue. The parts of this statue represent the empires that would exile the Jewish people. The head represents Babylon, the two arms represent Media and Persia, the torso represents Greece, and the 2 feet represent Edom, what's now the modern Western world, and Ishmael, the Arabs. There's a basic difference between the arms and the legs. A person with one arm can function, but a person with only one leg is essentially powerless. The 2 final exiles work as a team, and they cannot oppress the Jewish people, one without the other. So which is it? Is the West the partners of Islam, or do they love Israel like President Donald Trump? It must have been about 10 years ago that I realized that something had changed at the BBC. Suddenly I saw reports about Muslim festivals informing their viewers of the details of, say, Eid al-Fitr, and how this was a beautiful time of feasting, prayer and gift-giving. Now, it's not that the BBC never covered Jewish festivals, but the tone of this piece was more than informative. It bordered on proselytizing. It smacked of a trailer for Islam 101. Arab investors have significantly invested in the UK. For example, Qatar's sovereign wealth fund owns stakes in Barclays Bank, Sainsbury's and Heathrow Airport, and they also own Harrods and the Ritz. The UAE has also made major investments, such as Abu Dhabi's investment in the UK's renewable energy sector. Now, all of these investments show the strong economic connections between the Gulf states and the UK. This pro-Arab current in English culture isn't new. The connection between the Brits and the Arabs goes way back to the 19th century and before that. Why do the English and the Arabs have this mutual love affair? Now, it could be that they're so opposite. The climate and the topography of Devon couldn't be more different than the Negev Desert, and opposites attract. Also, both nations place a high premium on honor and ceremony. But there's also a significant pro-Jewish strain that runs through English culture. George Eliot, Lord Palmerston, Benjamin Disraeli were notable Philo-Semites of the 19th century, along with Sir Robert Peel, who supported Jewish emancipation, and Thomas Babington Macaulay, who spoke in favor of Jewish civil rights. Also, Charles Dickens shifted later in his life to a more positive view of the Jews. Historian Paul Johnson points out that in the First World War, just at the time when the British government was in a position to create a Jewish national home in Palestine, the leaders of that government, including David Lloyd George, were largely low-church Presbyterians who had all been brought up on a diet of Tanakh, on the prophets, and to them the return of Israel to its land was axiomatic. So which is it? Is Edom, the West, in a symbiotic partnership with Islam? Or, like Donald Trump, do they declare, "May God bless Israel"? The Medrash says that when Hashem was giving the Jews the Torah at Sinai, everything stopped. Everything was silent. The nations of the world, fearing another giant flood, sent for Bilam, their prophet, to ask him what was happening. Bilam replied with the words of Psalm 29, that Hashem was not bringing a flood or destruction, but Hashem was giving Oz, which means the Torah, to his people. To which the nations of the world replied, "May Hashem bless his people with peace." When we try to ingratiate ourselves with the nations of the world, when we try and ape them, they'll turn around and say, you're not like us, you're a nation that dwells alone. But when we, as proud Jews, sanctify the name of God by keeping the Torah, when we behave like Jews, when we behave like those Jews who stood at Sinai, then the whole world will proclaim, "May Hashem bless his people with peace."